Hello and welcome. It's Japan, and we need to go over the match card here at Deadline. Rating, review, everything that you want to say, I guess, and everything I got to say about this PLE um, will be in this video. So, right off the bat, we're going to go with the men's Iron Survivor. Um, First off, Oba Fett being the fifth man, I did call it. I did think if they were going to go with somebody on the NXT roster, that was the call to pick, and sure enough, it was. Obviously, he's an absolute beast, and I've been every match that he's been in this year, except for maybe like the Tony D'Angelo match where he lost the title on, I feel like has been on the upper tier of every tier list or anything that I've thought has been done this year. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised that some big guys, like that big guy wrestling, and even like the strong guy wrestling, isn't always like my thing. Like, yeah, I like to see it every once in a while, but it gets stale, it gets bored. But no, Boba Fett just not get bored. It just does not. And then you got Wesley doing a lot of his stuff. You got Javon Evans doing all that bouncy stuff, and it's just absolutely insane when you think of that. Plus, you got Nathan Frazier, who's bouncy, speed, strength, all of that, which he had to pull double duty, and I feel like he's probably right now still in a coma, sleeping this off. And even Page, obviously, it's kind of like that mix between like, he's obviously just a heel, like a Weasley heel that does stuff to try to be an opportunity, but he can wrestle and he can go out there and take some good bumps, even if it's kind of like a comedy bump or just even a comedy situation, like with him getting put in the penalty box and then Oba Fett beating him up in the penalty box. This match was probably my favorite men's Iron Survivor match of all time, and I just thought it was great. It was such a good start. I was gonna like I was trying to do something else in the background at the beginning of the match just because I was behind on time, and I just had to stop it and watch the match and just be completely engulfed by it. So I'm putting it in S tier. I think it was the best men's Survivor Iron Survivor match that I've ever seen, which I know there's only three, and so it's not like the hugest like a huge statement compared to like something that's been going on for like 30, 40 times, but I feel like it's an easy statement to say, and every man in there did amazing. And we're gonna have Oba Fett versus Trick Williams, which I think again will be an absolute cook of a match at New Year's Evil. So I'm like, I'm cool with all this. So this was perfect. Everything, the decisions, everything about it, I absolutely liked. Next up, we have the underground match between Lil Levice and Jada Parker. I just hate these type of matches. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. Like if I want to watch MMA, I'll watch MMA. I'm not really watching that to do it. It's fine to have grappling offense. Like Japanese Joshi wrestling has a lot of grapples and stuff. But like I'm invested into that's what I'm gonna see, and then I'm gonna see some crazier stuff out without the match. But you don't get any of that. It's just grapples, boring stuff, random stuff on the outside, which still makes no sense of like why they can even get outside of the ring. That should be kind of a rule that you only could be out like maybe in a 3 count or something. I feel like there should be some type of rule that like the whole point of the underground match is to be in the ring at all times. But overall, I'm just not a big fan. This is like what Lola Vice's third one. I've hated every single one, and I think they're good wrestlers. I think they definitely went in there and did their best. Like if it was out of underground matches, I think it was one of the better ones, but for me, I don't like it. It's gonna go in D. I don't like that style. I already knew I wasn't gonna like it. I barely could pay attention, and that's impossible when you see it's Jada Park and Lola Vice. Like your eyes should be glued there for multiple reasons, but absolutely just did not like it. Then we got the tag team match, which it's Axiom and Nation Frazier versus No Kettle Catch Republic. I just it's one of those matches like they knew that they could put on a show because all of the competitors in there are just going to be good. They didn't have a lot of story thread coming into this, and they, it was kind of just like every tag team. I do feel like they shouldn't have had OTM come out there and like I don't know, even be like a semi distraction. We don't need any of that. Like we had enough of a story on Nathan and Axiom's like side of things, and like the tag team divisions had the storyline. So this one just had to have the match, and that's all they needed to do. I thought overall great match. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it. Obviously, I think the decision I think was good too because I think like Axiom and Nathan Frazier are just such a good tag team, and I feel like the time that they should lose is when they eventually pull apart and then do it like where they're gonna go against each other. Which they just this is like their 1 year mark of being a tag team because they fought each other last year on the deadline card. So I think that's kind of cool that it's been a good solid year for them. And yeah, I'll put them in A. I thought it was a really good match. Just there's not much complaints about it. Just kind of one of those matches that I liked. I would enjoy. That's kind of how my A is. Like it's like I enjoy it. It's a good match. Should be on the card. All of that good stuff. And then, but it's like not a match I'd probably ever go and watch back like the Iron Survivor match. But that's why I think that's why it's A and not S tier for me at least. Then we got the the Trick and Ridge Holland match. I think they put on a match for themselves. Like it was a good match. I just wasn't very invested in it. It wasn't anything like I wouldn't even necessarily. I don't want to say like good or bad because I don't think it was good or bad. I just think it was there, and you can kind of tell that it was like that. This is the men's NXT championship, so like if it's not the women's title or not the men's title headlining something and it's something else, that feels kind of bad. Obviously, we did the same thing with War Games by not having, but um, that felt like that was a bigger storyline. And obviously, the women's Iron Survivor match has like its own story with this everybody being in there completely stacked, but you could tell that they knew this match wasn't going to be that blow the socks off finale that they could have had with any other match. I think it was okay. I'm gonna put it in C. I don't think it was the worst match on the card, but that was also kind of hard to beat with the underground match. I had no invested interest in it. It felt like 100% that Trick was going to win no matter what happened, and I didn't like the build up to it. I thought it was kind of strange and weird. So there was just everything about it. I just knew I wasn't going to like it, and I wasn't wrong. So, see, I definitely think it could have been tweaked or not even on the card, and I would have been okay with it. Next up, we have the women's Iron Survivor match, which, again, these Iron Survivor matches are just so much better than the War Games matches. Like, just the idea of them, too. Like, and it's kind of crazy, but, like, just the idea of them are like that. I really wish maybe one time we get a SmackDown and Raw Iron Survivor challenge. You know, five men, five women from SmackDown, five, and the same thing over on Raw, and then they have their own Survivor matches in like a PLE. I'd be kind of cool with that because the premise is cool and there's a lot of different spots you can do and you have like a different aspect. Yeah, I wouldn't want it to be a yearly thing, but like a one-time thing actually sounds pretty dope. But when we get back to the match, where do you start? Like who is even the weakest link there? That's the crazy thing. Stop and think about that. There's not anybody you can even say because a lot of people would be like, "Oh, Ren Sinclair was the weak link because she got pinned a bunch of times." Nah, she hustled her ass out there. She did so much stuff and made so many people look good, and also just looked like one hell of a worker in there. And she should get her flowers someday. And that's just not because I'm a Ren Sinclair fan. I gotta be completely transparent with you to show that I am a fan, but anybody that goes out there and cooks that much and takes that much shit from all the opponents and still looks good with doing her own moves and her own stuff deserves something for that because that was great and she definitely deserved to be on the match. Like in the match, Zarya looked good, looked like a beast. Obviously, I think she didn't get as many strength stuff. She kind of looked like that unbeatable monster, and I think that's what they're building her up to. And I'm fine with that, but like getting put for that table was absolutely insane. Julia absolutely looks like a star. I mean, there was just everything about her was perfect, and her and Ren Sinclair doing the kind of like grappling fit in the beginning was a really cool throwback to at least like Julia's style, and that it kind of got the crowd just like invested to see what can Julia do with her own stuff, and then she goes right into kind of the faster pace match after that, and it worked perfectly. Stephanie looked absolutely amazing out there in like a perfect form. I feel like she, out of the five women here, just has this like, obviously it's an aura thing plus just like skill that like I feel like she could literally just like they could say, hey, you want to go have a title match in the main card, and she could run circles around some of the workers up there because she just feels so ready to do anything. And that might just be because like she's a big, strong, independent wrestler that's gone for different promotions. I think kind of gets you that feeling because you're just you might not have a rapport against the person. You've maybe even seen the person that you're facing, and all of a sudden now you have to go out there and put on a good match, and Stephanie does, and she did great in here. And then obviously Soul Work with that double snort soul snatch. What? Like that was amazing. Like you don't ever get those type of opportunities in certain matches, and like to put out such great people, and it's insane. I saw that like obviously like they all took some pins and some bumps, and it's like Stephanie didn't even take a pin, or like even I don't even anybody remotely had her like it looked like she was gonna get pinned to a certain extent. I'm like they look good, and I'm obviously putting this in S tier. I think overall this PLE is like a 9 out of 10, and which is crazy when you think about how much I hated this match that I'd still go back and watch it just for those two top matches. And the Nathan and Frazier Nathan Nathan and Axiom match was also just so good that I would love them to run this back at New Year's Evil. It's just they had two bad matches. I mean, honestly, if you just watch these three, you'd be perfectly happy. These two definitely struggle a little bit, but the other matches are just so good. That 50 minutes of the two Iron Survivors match is just great, and definitely highly recommend, especially if you're not like a huge wrestling fan and you just like, especially NXT. A lot of people don't want to watch NXT. They'll just like, oh, just I don't care. I'll see them when they're on the main roster, but you gotta check out some stuff. This is the two to check out because these two matches would be that. And then the last, not even, I don't even want to say it's a controversial thing, but this is the best PLE this year, other than WrestleMania. I don't know. I didn't think it was gonna be, and when I watched it and I thought about it, digested, made this video, it's my feeling. I feel like other than WrestleMania, night 1 and 2, this would be the best PLE of the year. Because I don't know how you guys feel, at least with me, on like the year thing. I believe when WrestleMania ends, that's like the end of the wrestling year, and then it starts right after that on the Raw after WrestleMania. That's like the first of the year for me, at least, in my brain. But sometimes when I say stuff like that, it was the best PLE of the year, then people will be like, what about WrestleMania? Or what about Elimination Chamber or Royal Rumble? And I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forget about those because that's technically the first of the year, but the wrestling year to me starts in right after WrestleMania. But I don't know if you guys feel that same way. But I hope you guys are enjoying some of these episodes. I've been putting pretty much daily content up lately, and I'm gonna chug through for the end of the year for sure. I'm 100% planned to try to get a video out every single day, and maybe even some videos having 2 videos just because of like the way stuff goes. We have main event next Saturday, so watch out for the prediction video for that. That should be dropping in the middle of the week. I'll probably wait until after Raw at least. I would wait until SmackDown so I could get the last US thing, but I think that, might not be worth it. And then don't forget I have a TEW series here if you like wrestling video games and kind of see simulation there. I'll be having a series up here, and basically, if you throw likes on that video, I will have the videos pop out faster because I have quite a bit recorded, and if there's an interest for it, I'm gonna put it out there. If there's a soft interest and people are just watching the series, it'll be a weekly thing. But if you guys are enjoying, don't forget to check that out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.